Okay guys, so in this one we're going to be setting up the Postgres database server in the Azure environment, and that is what FME Server Core is going to be used to store all of its config, users, job logs, all that sort of stuff. So let's get straight in. Okay, so this is where we left you off from the last video. We finished downloading the installer for FME Server, but we're not actually going to use it yet. So let's just shrink that down, and what we're going to do is go back to, well, we can go back to our dashboard, but what we want to do here is search for Postgres. So it's a bit funny, you need to choose the flexible Postgres. So just search for Postgres. You want Azure database for Postgres SQL flexible servers, that's the one you want. There's also just the standard non-flexible server that's apparently going away soon, so it's going to be deprecated. So this is the one you want. So we go create, and all of this should be the same. I'll make sure you choose the same resource group you set up for the FME server. Set that one. Server name can just be something like FME Flow DB, and we're going to set it up in the same region, so I've gone with Australia East. For FME Flow or FME Server 2025, you can use Postgres SQL version 17, so that's all good. For this environment, I'm just going to choose development. Okay, what that means is it's just going to be a bit slower. It's not a big deal for this setup because we're going to be doing a few experiments on it. Basically finish this series and then I'm going to blow it all away because I don't want to pay for the ongoing costs, right? But obviously you can choose a more powerful server for your database engine as well. If you have the database as your bottleneck, FME server will need to write to it pretty constantly. So if you're limited by resources on the database, it can slow things down. Just be aware. I haven't really had any issues with just the dev environment though, doing small things, so we're just going to leave it there. I have no preference for availability zone. We'll have high availability turned off. And for this one, I think we just need Postgres authentication. So we just need the administrator login. This is usually just Postgres as the main database admin user, right? So Postgres, and then just put in your password. Obviously make sure you remember this stuff. Write it down somewhere, or however you want to manage your passwords. Use a password manager. All right, so let's go have a look at networking. We can enable public access, and what we'll do here is just add our own IP address. That might just make it easier for us a little bit later on when we need to access the machine. Over here you also want to add a create private endpoint here as well. Okay, this will allow your machine, the FME server machine that we set up before, to access the database too. So we're going to go here, same region. We'll call it FME Flow DB endpoint. And yep, we'll go for the virtual network. We're going to, when we created that server before, the virtual network here, FME Flow Core VNet, will set up. So we'll just go and turn that one on. And then for the subnet, we can just choose the default. And I think that should do it for us. So we'll hit OK here. And there we've got our private endpoint set up, and we've got our public endpoint set up for our own private connection from our own machine. So we can go to security next, have a look in here, that's fine. If you want to put tags in, it just helps you search for this resource later, but I think we're ready to go review and create. You can review all these settings and then we'll just hit create here. All right, and once again, as the deployment is running, it will take a while, so we'll just cut the video here and come back in a sec. Okay guys, we're back. Man, that did take a while, but once you get to this screen, deployment complete, it means your database is up and running, ready to go. So we go to resource here, and then we need to go to settings, and then connect, and we'll be able to see our connection details here. So if you added your own IP address to the network settings, you will actually be able to connect to this database using, if you had a database client here, I usually use Heidi SQL, and you can go ahead and put that in as your host, put that in as your user, your port, and then by default you'll have the default Postgres database as well, and then your password here, the one that you put in earlier, and you can connect to it and just make sure it works for you. But we're going to go to the server now. Alright, so we're here on the server again, and for our database client, we're just going to go and install pgadmin 4. So you look for pgadmin 4, and first link, and then we'll go look at this one. So this is just going to be a client for connecting to our new Postgres database. So download it, let's hit open. Install for all users, I think. Yeah, just all the defaults here, hit install. So we're going to have to, after the FME server core installation, we're going to have to do some post-installation steps by running a bunch of SQL scripts into our now remote setup Postgres database. So it's going to help us later on to have this here. So we'll just do this now while we're doing all the database stuff. Alright, so it's installing this dependency. That's actually a dependency for FME server as well, so that probably helps us out. Okay, so now with pgadmin 4 installed, you can go search for it and launch it. So you don't have to install pgadmin if you don't want to, if you have a different way you prefer to connect to the database. So there's obviously the PSQL command line tool, but I just think for the video it might be a little bit better just to run a more GUI centric client. And this is the official one, right, for Postgres, so may as well use this one. Okay, so pgadmin 4 is finally started up. In this list here, you'll have all your database connections that you can create. So we're going to go create one and connect to our new database server. So if you right click, register server, and then this one can be FME flow, and then it's going to be FME flow DB, and then the database. Actually, let's just go FME flow DB first. We go connection. I want to see if database shows up here. No, because we've got to list all the databases. Great. Okay, so host name and address here we can go and get from Azure. So if you remember this connect page, get that URL. The port should already be 5432 on Azure. You'll see it there. Make sure you are using the same username that you set up when you set up the database. So that'll be here, and then your database here. So I set it up as Postgres in Azure already, so I know that one's correct. So we'll put in the password that we set, and with a bit of luck this should just be able to connect, and looks like it's good. We can connect. We've got access to our Postgres database here now too. Cool, so there's nothing in this database yet, but we know that our server can connect to it, and later on we will be running some commands using the query tool here. We'll be running queries on this one very soon. Okay, so that'll be it for this one, guys. In the next one, we're going to actually get into installing FME finally. So I'll see you in the next one.